SIUE head volleyball coach Kendall Paulus in your eighth season. Coach just missed out on the OVC tournament last year, but you bring back some nice pieces. What's it going to take to kind of get back into the conference tournament and the title realm and how did just missing out by one match kind of fuel your squad during the spring and into the season?
Yeah, I mean, wow, talk about pressure, going. I think that trip to Little Rock will forever haunt me. Long trip down there, quick turnaround during the week, is a really tough week for us. And I just think, how we handled that pressure, maybe I think the wheels fell off, right? And I was actually talking to Sydney Hummer about that. We were in a kind of a classroom session talking about pressure, and she actually brought up that weekend, and we're trying to see it as a positive, right? Like, we've got that weekend under our belt, like we know what it takes, we've been there, and obviously want to handle it differently and want to figure out how we can, you know I think be great on the road. Would be nice, and just the more we can be confident outside of our home gym, I think will allow us then, when we get to the end of the regular season, we know how much those games matter. I mean, I think if we would have won two games and if the other matches fell out, we could have landed anywhere up to, sixth or seventh in the rankings. So knowing what one or two wins can or losses can do for you at the very end, I think something we might talk about more this year going in, and again, how we handle that pressure.
Okay. Well, they've only been in the gym for a few days, but obviously you built this squad. You had them, from like I said, the spring and then now and so on. But what are some of the things that highlight this team for you? What are the things that are their strengths? What do you really like about the 2024 squad?
Well, I will tell you, I mean, to say we've got new faces, I think is an understatement. And I think that's might be a trend in the OVC for this year. I'm sure you've heard it from a few other coaches, but we we have more new faces in jerseys this year than we, I think, have ever had. And we've got about eight new faces that were not on the court for us last year, that we did not train this spring. A few we did. But we're bringing in a lot of new people. And having the majority of our team being newcomers, I think allowed us a fresh start and allowed our returners to say, like, what do we really want? And what do we want SIUE volleyball to represent? We brought in really phenomenal people, and I think have only contributed to that and helped keep our team really positive. So we're off to a great training start. Everybody's bought into learning new things. Training hard. I mean, they're working their tails off. And I do think every returner would tell you that they're really excited about every single person we've added to the roster.
Well, you talk about obviously the newcomers, but you also have a couple nice pieces to help you lead into the season. You have Sydney Hummert, as you mentioned earlier, led your teams in kills last year, and it's got to be nice to have Elise Drifka and Karina Jones, as both from the center position that drove your offense a season ago. How important is it to have them back to help, you know, gather this new group and head into the season?
Yeah, I think with those three pieces you mentioned, they're extremely competitive. And I do think like their core experience, along with that competitive drive, they're all back because they want to win here. So I do think they're a great example for everyone new entering our program. And again, when you've got really competitive people driving your offense, it will trickle and help give confidence to our hitters.
And coach, you have, as we said, eight newcomers. So please tell us about some of the new people in the program and some other players that maybe were some returners that we should keep an eye on for this campaign.
Yeah, I'll give you two returners to keep an eye on for sure. One is Ainsley Ranstead. She was out I think all of OVC. I think maybe she made it into 2 matches because they were our very first two. And technically we played Western Illinois in preseason. So um, she was out very early with an injury and she's back and ready to go. And she is someone I think we can see a lot of offense from and who can add add a lot to our team. So she is a key piece, I think we'll see. And then Bree Schreiman, a junior. She was on the right side a lot for us last year, but she really has kind of transformed into the player we knew she could be. And I will tell you, these pin hitters are really battling it out in the gym. Like it's a really tough battle, but like we're touching the ball really high, we're hitting the ball really hard. I would use other language there, but I'll keep it PG. Um, but they're really at a very high level right now. And again, I think that will be fun to see how we use them. Who's on the outside, who's on the right side, and maybe we might have to be more creative than we've been in the past with our lineup. Now we're new additions. So Nicole Medlin is a middle. She's a grad transfer. Actually started at Little Rock before they were in the OVC. Transferred to Colorado Springs, had finished with a really great career there. And she has so much love for the game, like a lot of drive for a fifth-year player. And again, has such a motor. Like she can go for days and jump out of the gym. I mean, just a really hard worker, has great leadership qualities. And so she has been we love middle offense, but all of our middles are new. So for sure, she is someone I think we're going to see a lot of volume from.
Okay. Coach, you head into the season before you even get into conference play. You designed a pretty nice, competitive little slate here with Northern Iowa. You have Valparaiso, Southern Illinois, Chattanooga, just to name a few. Talk about the design of this schedule and helping this prepare this team and helping them gel together.
Yeah, I think Missouri Valley is always great competition. I think we saw that last year as well. And I think knowing who we can and can't compete with in the Missouri Valley is a great indicator for us of where we are and where we can be. And so we love having, Missouri Valley opponents on our schedule. I think getting out to North Dakota will be great again because Northern Iowa is not an opponent that I personally have played being here at SIUE, and I obviously a really great squad. So going and playing them at a neutral site, I think could be a really great challenge for us. But I told the team this, and I've been saying this a lot recently, but it's really hard to schedule wins. I mean, every volleyball team in the country is good. I feel like we used to be able to watch teams on on Volleymetrics and go, okay, like I think we can get this team and, based on who they're returning. But, every team bringing in transfers and you just don't know yet. And obviously like SEMO bringing back Lucy, she was a freshman last year and ran conference, really well. So you just can't guess anymore who you think you can or can't win. Can or can't beat. So I think it's just no matter who you schedule, you have to expect to have really great competition. And so we're just looking for people who can challenge us in new ways. We didn't want teams who all looked exactly the same. So I do think we'll get a little bit of variety there. And that's what we hope for with the OVC.
Well, Coach, hey, want to see if you can pinpoint one thing that that your team needs to have to contend for the OVC this season. And I know it's always tough to put on one thing, but we are going to ask for one.
I was like, we could go in a lot of directions with this. I do think, okay, it's to contend for an OVC regular season title. Is that the ultimate goal here we're discussing? To verify. Okay. I think to have enough wins to contend for an OVC regular season championship, I think you have to be great on the road. I mentioned that earlier. A lot of us are great at home. We play back to back. We get 2 home games a weekend, 2 away. And if you can't try to pick up 2 wins on an away weekend, like you're going to constantly be in the battle for that middle ground, and where you could be going from 5th to 9th in the last weekend. And so I think if we could figure out which weekends we can go on the road and win not one game but two, I think that can help secure you a little bit earlier in the top half of conference. So I would love to be able to do that.
Head coach Kendall Paulus from SIUE. Coach, we definitely appreciate your time today, and we definitely want to wish you the best of luck throughout the season.
Thank you so much. And we look forward to an exciting OVC season again this year. So thank you so much.